Good old Norway. Famous for the Opera browser, Telenor, and the Scream. Norway is a beautiful country with a lot of interesting inventions. But do they know how to make fun video games compared to all the awesome games we got from Germany over the years? Let's find out in this video. So grab your Sjællandschips and Oscar Syltet Cola. And let's start the show! Sadly, another one in the endless survival genre. I grew a little sick and tired of the same concept over and over again after I got bored out of my mind with Atlas Ark and Valheim. Someone recommended Conan Exiles, but Conan Exiles is exactly the same as any other game in this genre. You start with a weak, empty character. Need to find plant fibers, wood, stones and food. You build a little cabin, search for more food to prevent starvation. And just freaking build stuff and kill tribe warriors and wildlife to level up. When leveling up, you increase some stats, unlock new crap to build, and that's it. No end game, no completion, just become stronger and dominate. Sure, there are fortresses to conquer, other players to kill, certain events and missions, caves to explore. But it still feels so generic and lacks any form of innovation in my opinion. When playing with friends, this game is, like any other game, a lot more fun, but even then, after you built a nice house and found some resources that you needed to craft better crap, the boredom kicked in fast. I have to say, giving yourself a customizable horse redeems some quality to the game. Other than that, the only noticeable difference and unique feature is the religion that you choose and follow at the start. Giving you certain bonuses. The graphics is nothing to write home about, but has become better over time. The sound is generic, it is nothing special and does not deserve any special notes. The interfaces are simple to understand and the controls are basic and workable. From all the open world survival games, this one has the best atmosphere, I give it that. The massive world itself, the biomes, locations and geography are appealing. If my friend wanted to play this game with me, then I will say yes. I realized if I want to enjoy a survival game, the game has to have a lot of things to offer to convince me to play it. Especially when I could just play Minecraft instead. Sadly, I must say, I will not recommend this game. Not because of my own personal experience, but because it does not have anything interesting or unique besides the Conan theme. No new mechanics, no interesting new features. It is just the same as all the others. If you wanna play a survival game, I would recommend Subnautica or Rust instead. Why did the YouTuber bring a ladder to their channel? Because they wanted their subscribers to step up and hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe. You don't want to miss jokes that get even worse. Teslagrad has a wonderful art style, very smooth animations, and a challenging mix of precision, platforming and puzzles. The art style is beautiful and reminds me of a mixture of Disney Pixar and DreamWorks animation. The smooth animations make the game have smooth gameplay and precise platforming. However, the game can be frustrating and repetitive. The boss battles are mostly the same, hit the same weak point over and over. Also the boss battles change their movement paths all the time, rarely following the same pattern. And the amount of checkpoints there are very few. But anyway, ranked games did a very good job with the game. It has a very nice story even though it doesn't have any dialogue at all. Nice art style and very nice animations. A cool short little indie game. DragonHeart Fire and Steel on the PlayStation is a glaring example of how a film can be turned into a painfully mediocre gaming experience. Released in 1996, this side-scrolling action game promised to capture the essence of the DragonHeart movie, but fails miserably in almost every regard. The gameplay is the most significant flaw. As a hack and slash platformer, it offers little variety or excitement. You guide Bone, the film's protagonist, through sluggish, purely designed levels that rely on repetitive combat against uninspired enemies. The controls feel clunky, making movement and attacks imprecise, and the hit detection is widely inconsistent. It often feels like you are fighting the controls more than the enemies. The level design is bland and linear, with no real sense of exploration or challenge beyond trial and error jumps and monotonous waves of enemies. There is little incentive to progress when every level feels like a recycled version of the last. DragonHeart Fire and Steel is a classic case of a movie tie-in game rushed to market without thought or care. It squanders the rich lore and heart of the DragonHeart film in favor of a cheap, repetitive and uninspired gaming experience. Even fans of the movie will struggle to find anything to enjoy here. If you are looking for an action platformer, there are countless better options on the PlayStation 1.
Let's kick some ice.
WinGold from 1996 for the Super Nintendo is a fascinating blend of ambition and frustration. Released late in the SNES lifecycle, the game stands out for its visuals, which are nothing short of groundbreaking for the system. Utilizing the Super FX2 chip, it delivers smooth 3D graphics that push the hardware to its absolute limits. The environments are impressively detailed, and the fluid animations make events like bobsledding and skiing feel dynamic and immersive. Simply put, it's one of the best looking games on the SNES, technical achievement that deserves praise even decades later. However, while the graphics shine, the gameplay struggles to keep up. With 6 events to tackle, including snowboarding, ski jumping and slalom. The sound design is serviceable but uninspired, with forgettable music and basic effects that fail to match the energy of the visuals. In the end, WinGold is a visual marvel but an average game. Its graphics might impress, but the gameplay doesn't have the same polish. Worth a look for its technical brilliance, but its uneven gameplay will leave many out in the cold. Owlboy is a visually stunning indie game with a heartfelt story and unique gameplay mechanics. The pixel art is absolutely gorgeous, showcasing meticulous detail and vibrant colors that make every scene a joy to explore. The orchestral soundtrack is equally impressive, setting the mood perfectly and enhancing the emotional weight of the story. Playing as Otis, a mute owlboy, you experience themes of friendship and perseverance in a way that feels genuinely touching. The gameplay stands out with its flying mechanics and the ability to carry allies, each with unique abilities, adding variety to both puzzles and combat. The mix of platforming and exploration is satisfying, and the world design invites curiosity. However, Owlboy isn't without flaws. The controls can feel clunky at times, especially in high pressure moments, and some combat encounters or puzzles can be repetitive. Additionally, the game's short length, 8 to 10 hours, may leave some players wanting more depth or replayability. Overall, Owlboy is a beautiful, emotional, resonant game with a few minor shortcomings. It's an indie gem worth playing, especially if you appreciate artful storytelling and stunning visuals.
Yeah, boy!
This game gives me good memories from my childhood because I watched this show a lot in the morning before school. So it's awesome! They finally made a fun game out of it. This game is based around Moomin and follows the art style of the 90s cartoon. The art is drawn in a way to both resemble the cartoon, but it also has a feeling like it's a children's storybook. It's very pretty and makes you feel very warm and happy. The game is complemented by a really relaxing and nice soundtrack to go along with the visuals. The gameplay itself is essentially an adventure game where you can control the character with the mouse and have a few actions like playing musical instruments, jumping and finding ways to get around the environment. The gameplay isn't anything deep and all the puzzles are very simple to go through. The game does encourage you to explore around the areas as you can find inspiration, which lets Snufkin, the protagonist of the game, increase his level with the musical instruments, which will also help as some puzzles require higher levels in the instruments. The game also has basic quests which will allow you to do a bit of exploration to find an item or solve a puzzle. None of this is particularly difficult. What I found surprising is that the game tackles the theme of nature, the issues with trying to tame and control the nature, and even tackles things like the flaws of authority. Though the game doesn't paint the people behind the system of authority as evil, but instead as misguided, rather than trying to understand and appreciate nature. This game is more than likely made for a young audience. If you are a parent, I would definitely recommend this game as a fun little adventure title. Championship Motocross 2001 featuring Ricky Carmichael for the PlayStation 1 is a thrilling and highly polished motocross experience. With its realistic sights, diverse track selection and challenging gameplay, it perfectly captures the excitement of the sport. Whether you're tackling indoor arenas or outdoor dirt tracks, the game's design keeps you on toes with sharp turns, big jumps and varying terrain. The controls strike a great balance between accessibility and depth, allowing newcomers to jump in while offering enough complexity for seasoned players to master. Featuring Motocross legend Ricky Carmichael, the game oozes authenticity, further enhanced by its robust roster and bike customization options. Graphically, it's impressive for its time, with detailed tracks and smooth animations. The energetic soundtrack and crowd effects add to the adrenaline-fueled atmosphere, making each race feel intense. If you are a fan of motocross or simply love racing games, this title is a must-play, offering hours of high-octane fun on the PlayStation 1. I was on knife's edge of enjoyment versus frustration with this game. Earthlock is a self-proclaimed love letter to classic RPGs around the PS2 era. This is both part of its charm and its downfall. Upon first glance, it's a charming RPG with a nostalgic art style and simple mechanics. Upon further inspection, many of the wards really get in the way of enjoyment. Save points can be infrequent and even missing before boss encounters. Sometimes enemies will do party wiping attacks without warning, leading to you wasting 30 to 60 minutes. There's very little interesting loot because everything is tied to a crafting system. The crafting system seemed fun at first, until I realized many of the weapons are side grades and all irrelevant for very specific boss encounters. The vast majority of the character abilities are pretty useless except for a few rare scenarios. Worst of all though, is the story was as generic as it gets. The narrative is one of Earthlock's weakest points. The story feels generic and uninspired, revolving around a by the numbers, save the word plot that lacks emotional depth or compelling twists. The characters, while visually distinct, are underdeveloped and fail to stand out. Dialogue is clunky, making it hard to connect with the cast. Without strong characters or an engaging story, it's difficult to stay invested. This game was definitely a Kickstarter disappointment. The Casper game for the Sega Saturn delivers a charming, colorful world that captures the light-hearted spirit of the 1995 movie. The 3D graphics, while dated by modern standards, were impressive for the time, with detailed environments and smooth character animations. Casper's ability to float, interact with objects, and solve puzzles offers a unique twist on the platforming genre, giving some fun variety. However, the game's 3D controls feel awkward and imprecise, making navigation frustrating, especially in more complex environments. The gameplay can be repetitive, with lack of variety in challenges and level design. The story feels shallow, offering little more than a basic framework, which may disappoint fans hoping for a more immersive experience based on the movie. Overall, while Casper on the Saturn has its nostalgic charm and offers a fun atmosphere, its clunky controls and repetitive gameplay make it a more suitable choice for younger audiences or fans of the movie, rather than seasoned gamers looking for depth. Nightmare Circus for the Sega Mega Drive is a prime example of wasted potential. On paper, a creepy circus-themed platformer sounds like a fun concept, but the execution falls flat in nearly every way. The biggest issue is the clunky controls. The movement feels stiff and unresponsive, which makes navigating the game's simple platforming sections frustrating. Jumping can be imprecise and attacks often don't register properly, leading to cheap deaths and a lot of unnecessary trial and error. The graphics are equally disappointing. While the game tries to create a spooky circus atmosphere, the visuals are muddled and lack detail. The environments are repetitive and uninspired, with poorly animated enemies that do nothing to enhance the creepy vibe. The overall art design feels lazy, as though developers didn't fully commit to creating a memorable world. As for the gameplay, it quickly becomes monotonous. You will find yourself repeating the same basic platform mechanics and fighting the same enemy types over and over. There's little variety in the stages, and the puzzles are shallow, offering no real sense of progression or satisfaction. The real level design doesn't add anything new to keep players engaged, and the lack of any real difficulty curve just makes it feel like a slog rather than a challenge. The sound design doesn't help either. The soundtrack is forgettable, with repetitive circus tunes that fail to create any real sense of atmosphere. Sound effects are equally underwhelming, and the overall lack of audio variety leaves the game feeling flat. In short, Nightmare Circus is a frustrating, repetitive, and ultimately forgettable experience. The controls are unresponsive, the levels lack creativity, and the visuals don't make good use of the Mega Drive's hardware. It's a game that feels like a missed opportunity, offering little fun or satisfaction. If you're looking for a memorable platformer, Nightmare Circus is one to avoid.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Well, there you have it. Some of Norway's best and not so great contributions to the world of video games. It's clear that while the country may not be as prolific in gaming as some others, there's no shortage of creativity and ambition. What did you think? Did I miss any gems or any dots? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive, give this video a like, share it with your friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on OmegasMovie.